Hello, guys. I will be showing you a little walkthrough of how to write quality content with the help of AI. I'm Julia. I'm a fractional CMO, and I have a content background of 10 plus years. So I'm putting all of my knowledge of content marketing and combining it with AI tools. This framework that I tested, that I tried on myself, has helped me write all of these articles for our blog and grow 208%, I think, this year, and even brought a couple of quality leads, which increased our pipeline. Of course, you know how it is growing a marketing agency, and we are focusing specifically on fractional marketing. So this is what you can find here. This is what all the text and all our content is written about. And let me show you how it's done. So obviously you can't just go to ChatGPT and say, okay, help me write a blog article about what is fractional marketing. There is some prep work, and believe me, you spend the first 30 to 40 minutes writing it and doing it, and then it will be just very easy to go on and produce the article. So we start with the intent keyword, since if you're writing a blog, then you might want to make it visible to Google. Maybe you will be ranking somehow. I'm using Ahrefs for it. And for example, let's say that let's write an article about fractional CMOs for startups. I take out the keyword ideas. I check what people are writing about, what the top 10 competitors are doing. If you don't have the subscription to Ahrefs services, you can use this extension, SEO Search Simulator by Nightwatch. It allows you to check what's going on in the top 10 of your target country. So, for example, let's put fractional CMO for startups. And it gives you the AI overview. So, what's written here? The sponsored content, we can't beat it, but we can beat these ones. And ideally, you would want to go through each of these one by one and try to understand what's the intent behind the keyword. So what each competitor, what each news outlet, media channel, website are talking about. I assume I'm not going to walk through all of it. Obviously, you'll be doing this research for yourself, but our idea is so if you just go to ChatGPT and write down, please help me write a blog article about fractional CMO for startups. ChatGPT will give you a lot of generic bullshit that will be based on this. Our idea, if we want to make it quality and if we want to scale it later, and if we want to make it to top 5 organically here, we have to add some unique experience. Google calls it gained knowledge. So something that is not here yet. These might be your experiences. These might be your own case studies, your frameworks, your approach to things. Maybe you've heard something in panel discussions some idea that you might consider interesting and very relevant to the idea. This all should be present in your article. And you start writing it down. So what I usually do, so you see I prepared this sort of deck, document, right, with the keywords written out, and I started jotting down the carcass of my blog article. So I want to cover the questions that my potential audience might ask. So why startups hire fractionals and not full-time, for example? Why not consultants? When does a startup need a CMO? What are some signs? How do I know which kind of CMO I'm looking for? So for example, I just jotted down everything that was passing through my mind. This is the thing. Don't think about it, because obviously think about it, but don't overanalyze. Don't go into analysis paralysis, trying to indicate every single detail. Just try to answer the question as if you would answer it on a business meeting, or to your colleague during a business conference or some sort of that. So, for example, I've included, what if you are an AI marketing startup, because this is one of the questions that I heard most during the recent conference that I've been to. And so I'm writing down like all of my experiences, everything that we know from our agency. This is also important to say that if you're going into AI content creation and you want it to be of high quality, you have to have some strategic foundation behind it. So you have to know who you are, who you sell to, who's your ICP, what's your competitive edge. Obviously, I have it all in my background, in my mind, right? Because I run the agency. But if you are supposed to delegate it later to your marketing team, it's good to have these strategic materials written down, because later you will be able to upload it into your custom GPT, or into your Claude Knowledge, or whatever tool you're using. So what also helps is to set the intention for the article. So not the metaphysical one, but the content one. I usually use the job to be done approach. So ask yourself, like, fill in the gaps here. So when I, meaning your ICP in this case, when I run a startup and I'm ready to launch my marketing, I want to know which options I have, and how to choose a fractional CMO so that I can make an informed decision. Right? For example, this is my job to be done for this article. You will come up with your own. Uh, and believe me, at first it might seem very substantial, very like heavy lifting, but the more you practice, the more you will be able to produce it much faster. Like, I ran this marathon, I ran this experiment of 30 blogs in 30 days. The first couple of articles where it took me the longest time, and the last ones were just like a breeze. That's why I'm walking you through this process right now. What I do next is I go to ChatGPT and I instruct it to write. I'm setting my intention. I'm spelling out what I will be doing, right? So before giving any instructions, I'm telling him that here's what I'm going to do, right? Here, I want to write a blog article. This is the keyword. These are other keywords. And it always helps to upload other articles from the blog or some references, so that chat knows which ones it is supposed to mock. By the way, this I made this flow into a custom ChatGPT, so usually I don't have to go through this flow anymore. So once you've reached, for example, 10 blog articles, you might create a custom GPT of your own. But for the sake of the video, I will go through this approach with you. So ChatGPT gave me this structure, SEO-driven article structure, targeting fractional CMO for startups. I review it. It even sets the purpose and the intent behind it. So we are speaking it founder to founder, and this is our primary ICP here. I've reviewed the sections and they seem okay. I copied it. The only section is that I excluded is section 3, because I don't think this is of relevance to my target audience. And I basically, starting from here, you can already ask ChatGPT to proceed with the article creation. But I usually because ChatGPT is great for brainstorming, but I also want to double check. I double check LLMs between each other. So what I do is sometimes I would write out this script, the structure that ChatGPT sent me. I will add specific keywords, like which keywords I want to see where. So, for example, I will write down that my intro section will include the main keyword, the core keyword within the first 150 words of the article, because this is the requirement I want to make. And I would form the carcast, right? I added in some sections, I added my own thoughts. Ideally, I will also add now the cross links to my other blog articles, because I want internal linking to be coherent and cohesive. And I might also add some research that I will run with Perplexity now, because this is what this LLM is good for. But for now, I will take the same exact prompt that I ran in ChatGPT and I will take it to Claude. So I have enriched my article with links and with some extra information. You see, I found the salary range for an average CMO. I linked to my internal other blog articles, and I've enriched my draft with some information from Claude. Now I'm gonna run. I upload this structure into the chat with the prompt of so watch for the tone of voice, follow best practices of journalism, and disallowed terms and phrases. So stuff like they aren't just, they don't just, it isn't, and all these negative phrasings. And I run it in Claude, and I do the same in ChatGPT. Let's see the results. So now this is the fun part. Both LLMs gave me the output, and I compare both, and I take what I like and start building my article like a Lego puzzle. Sometimes ChatGPT is more creative, so I would take metaphors and the brainstormed ideas from here. Sometimes Claude gives better output, which is in this case the case, but sometimes it's longer, so we have to watch out for the cases of redundancy, repetitions, not just lexical, so not just in terms of vocabulary, but also in terms of senses and meanings. So I parse each of the outputs one by one and critically approach this, skimming through each and sifting through the best ideas that I can get. So after some time, I've built this article. Eventually, in my case, Claude gave a much better result in terms of copywriting and in terms of missing repetitions. I just polished some things, like Claude, for example, likes to give two consecutive sentences with the same exact meaning. So you just delete it, just like any editor would do. So you polish up your article, and I know that not all keywords have been introduced. So I asked ChatGPT, I upload my copy, and I ask it to check the article and review whether all keywords are there and whether all internal links are mentioned. A good piece of advice is to set the context for ChatGPT, because it starts hallucinating when you're giving very strict, very rigid instructions. Sometimes it's good, like in my case, I'm using these rigid instructions for banned words and disallowed phrases. However, when I want to analyze and find the gaps, I need to set the context to ChatGPT. So, okay, now we know that the primary keyword is strongly covered, and there are some keywords that are missed. And it's giving me the suggestions, which I'm going to include now. Let me see. Okay, so eventually I've added a couple of tweaks and polished the whole text and published it on our blog. In total, the process took me about 2 hours, but also because I got distracted. And once you set up the rhythm and have a couple of content pieces that you can upload into your into your LLM knowledge, then it becomes much, much faster. And the only time that you will have to spend is your preparation. So all the research, all the stats, all the voice notes that especially if you're preparing the expert content piece or opinion ad, and then the rest is being automated by our AI engines. A couple of rules that I will stress on is that number one, you never outsource your thinking, so you always set the frame of mind and of the structure of your article to the LLM system, right? This is where your research comes in handy. Then you always edit it afterwards. You proofread it, you read out the sentences, whether they make sense and whether they are coherent and cohesive for your target reader, whether this information is something that you would be reading, and adapt everything to your tone of voice. It's very important to have the strategic foundation before you start this experiment, whether it's for your personal brand growth or your company one. Always keep in mind your ICP, your positioning, value proposition, articulate your competitive edge, openly and tie it back to a larger service and larger value that you're delivering. Stick to your tone of voice. This is an extension of your strategic artifact, and build on it. Build your content map around some clusters of information, and populate your blog or your social media with something that makes sense. Don't just take whatever the LLM spits out and paste it into your media. Thanks, guys. I hope you found it valuable, and hope to see you around.